Please come on in and hear from our next panel, which I'm delighted to introduce our moderator, Amir Mohammed Khashoggi.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Just a small correction in my name. You made me a prince, but my name is Amr. Amir means prince. Thank you. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and apologies for the delay. We're going to try to make it fast-paced and exciting and fun, like the rest of the forum. I'm sure you all are enjoying it as much as we locals are enjoying it. The mining industry in Saudi Arabia is a really promising industry, and it has fantastic opportunities for investors, both locally, regionally, and internationally. So we welcome your money, so big up. Today we're going to take a slight journey. First, we're going to talk about the global situation with regards to the demand for critical minerals and the supply or lack thereof. So I would like to start with Jonathan. You operate in 15 countries and you deal a lot in very important minerals, cobalt, copper, and other non-ferrous material. And the world is hungry for this. So if you can just give us briefly and specifically, where are the challenges in the supply meeting the demand? Are there shortfalls? And if there are, what is the worst case scenario? And what can we do about it to solve it?
Probably you can talk ages about this question, but let me give you a few highlights. We heard a lot of numbers, but I think for me personally, it's very hard to grasp the numbers. Trillions of dollars will have to go into the pipeline. But let's make this a bit more manageable, right? What does it mean? The demand that is popping up, sixfold of what we're producing now, will mean that about 300 to 400 mines that are currently in development will all have together come online just to meet the demand. Yeah? So that's a huge supply that needs to come online. And we're hearing a lot about sustainability and that needs to be done in a sustainable manner. Yes, of course. But the more you push the supply side, the more the ESG-related risks also increase. Right? So that's one of the big challenges. The second big challenge is talent. For some reason, which I don't quite understand, mining is not really sexy. The young people go to, and I'm only 36, but a lot of people go into the tech industry, not into mining. Yeah? Mining is considered dirty and a lot of work outside in the field, and we're not getting the right talent in here. But if you're really serious about the net zero goals, there's nothing, you need to realize that there's no way around mining. So young people, and we encourage them every day, that want to make an impact in the world have to go into mining. The third big topic is, we heard this many times, is capital. There's, in the financial community, a very strong look for ESG-compliant projects. But I think what has not been touched upon is, if you do ESG-related investments, it means that capital will flow into projects in Canada and Australia, but not, for instance, into the Democratic Republic of Congo, which holds about 80% of the resources for cobalt. It means if we do not come to the realization that the minerals that we need will not come from the G7 countries, but from countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo, we will not be able to achieve our goals.
Thank you. Suleiman, are we in Saudi Arabia? Do we reflect this picture that Jonathan has shared with us?
Well, whatever he says, I think regarding the youth and expectation for the youth to come into the mining sector, yes, it is a hard, and there is other opportunity to share with that. And that we have only one university in Saudi Arabia. They are graduated mining engineer, for example. But being good and the opportunity which will be appear in Saudi Arabia for the mining license which is issued by the ministry and the requirement for the Saudi technical people to involved in the mining sector, it will open the door for the youth to take the challenge and go into this business. And the youth really are interesting to get stable income for their business. And in the mining, they are giving them the stability, they are giving them the grow up in their income and achieving themselves, and they are proving themselves. So the demand for the mining sector is increase in Saudi Arabia with the law and the system it's happening. So there is a lot of encouragement. And now there is some other university, they are opening up for the schools, which are increasing the sector for absorbing the Saudi youth to be involved. Regarding the commodity and the rare forest, I think this is positive for the Saudi, because we have a huge land, and this land, it is almost 650,000 square kilometers unexplored, which represent a huge opportunity for the mining company to come and enter to Saudi Arabia and to invest in Saudi Arabia. And also the beautiful things here in Saudi Arabia, the fund, it's not really a problem, because of any mine in Saudi Arabia, it's worth $100 million only as an owner. For this session or the mine, you have to spend $25,000. The rest, you can get it easy loan from the government. And you're guaranteed it is your mine. So it is very easy to do business. And I think this is an excellent opportunity here. In worldwide, I agree totally what has been said by Mr. Jonathan.
Okay. So now to follow up on,
Yes.
on the human capacity.
Yes.
Today, Saudi Arabia has opened job opportunities for women.
Yes.
Do you see that two things? From one point of view, part of the question I'd like you to address, which is the role of women in working in the mining field, whatever the job is that might be suitable
Yes.
for them. And secondly, maybe then I ask Sven to take the second part, which is the role of international companies to help train local talent in Saudi Arabia where you have interest. So please.
Saudi Arabia have almost half of its national, which is about 10 million, they are female. And this female, they are working in all kind of sector, in hospital, as a doctor, in other work, in any government institute or ministry, or the private sector nowadays. And now the mining, it's need work in the field, which is a little bit very, very, very dirty. And the man also cannot stand it. Even so many men, they cannot stand it. But today the technology is becoming, it's making the business to be easy, whether for man or for female. And now it is the women, it has been done in all kind of the sector, even in the mining sector. Today we are in the mining forum, and I see half of the people who are here serving the industry of mining, they are a female. And some of the president of the company, they are a female. So I don't see a reason why not female get into the mining sector, based on the development of mining sector, which will be happening by using the technology, using the 4G, that will happening. As a sample of that, my daughter Shog, he's here, she's a part of the mining sector. So we have one lady from the family of the mining. She's in the board. She's in the business. So I think, lady, they will be in, but not in very technical, dirty work and risky work. They might away using the technology to do it and the robot and that, whether in Saudi Arabia, whether in the advanced country like America and Canada and Europe, because human, they have value. So the safety for them, whether female or male, it is very important. And thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Safety is a major issue,
Yes.
and it's also a question of perception that you said. People, when they think of mines, they think of coal mining, and very dirty and getting, you come out with all the suits and so forth, etc. So, in addition to the question that I asked you, which is on the role of international companies playing a role in the training of local tenants, I'd like you to also take us into another challenge, that there are a lot of mines or mining companies that have old equipment, old processes. How does the technology, and you being from Siemens, might be able to tell us, how do we go into digitizing the mining sector?
Thanks a lot. This is fitting exactly to what we discussed before, what we heard before. So there's an increasing need, and technology plays a more and more important role in the mining industry. That means if we are installing new mines, it's done completely, the engineering is starting digital. So that means the complete footprint is established digital, the complete engineering phase, exploration phase, everything is done digital. So that means you're getting a complete digital twin of your factory automatically, of your mine, and you have all the chances to optimize afterwards. And there we are getting to the point that mining is not dirty anymore, and about safety. So all of this is linked together, what we just heard. So if we have the chance to build the future mine, and this is the great chance we have here in Saudi Arabia with all the opportunities coming up, we can take what we learned in mines around the world. We did the first greenfield mine with this approach. So we have one example in South America where we really did everything from scratch with digital design, training the people before the mine was even opened up with avatars. So the risk is really low. People get on site being already trained, knowing how it looks like, how to operate the plant. So that means the safety profile is completely different. Then we see here stockyards. We spoke about piles. We have automated stockyard management. We have 3D models to see what's on these stockyards. This is done on another side. And we have now the chance to really collect what has been done all around the world already, implement this for the new mines that will be built up here in Saudi Arabia, and the people to come back there, they will be trained, they will learn, they will push this on the next level here by operating it and making it better and better. And there you are at the point, it will not be dirty, it will not be something that is not interesting. You will push technology on the next level. And it's not that mining is behind other industries. The mine in South America is even state of the art or above what is done in other industries. So that means we are even an example for other industries. We are leading there towards what is possible in regards to following the complete digital line, even during the life cycle of the mine, and then also while operating during all the different levels from automation up to the MES, the management system. So there's really all the options, and this allows really a lot of different job profiles and job profiles with a long future. So that means for the youth, this must be very, very interesting in the future to really follow up these industries, to follow up these technologies. So there's a lot in.
So, Jonathan, having listened to Sven, how, and you being a major operator in mining, how much of that, of your efforts in terms of technology and digitization, on one hand. Secondly, we hear the new buzzword, metaverse, and that you can actually use metaverse besides playing games and, and so forth, that you can use it for simulations, for training purposes and for safety training as well. So,
yeah. No, we're doing a lot of projects all across the globe with our colleagues from Siemens, and I could not agree more that the adoption of innovative technologies is more important than ever. If you take the typical mine, depending on commodity, it takes about 10 to 15 years to be built. We don't have that time. We need to be a lot quicker, and technology is the catalyst to achieve that. Now, but at the same time, what is technically possible and what management would love to have and the realities on the ground are somewhat disconnected very often. And it goes back to the discussion about critical skills and uplifting the workforce itself. We consider ourselves, especially on our exploration portfolio here in Saudi Arabia, as tech-enabled company for exactly that reason. Quicker, better discoveries at better cost. And that's, I think, the main challenges. I would not say that there's a specific technology itself, the metaverse, which will resolve all of our issues. It's more about understanding the problems on the ground, the difficulties that the people have on the ground, the struggles, where they lose time, where they make mistakes, identifying them individually and trying to match it with solutions that are either out there that may have been resolved in other industries, oil and gas, consumer goods and retail, there's many applications, or if it doesn't exist, we need to develop it ourselves. And that's also an approach that we take in our company.
So, Suleiman, to go back to the issue of supply and demand, the world is hungry for a lot of these critical minerals. Can Saudi Arabia provide those? And can Saudi Arabia also put the right conditions or the right investment atmosphere for attracting foreign direct investments in order to make sure that these supplies come to a reality?
Saudi Arabia, 80 years, they has been done it with the oil. And after that, the oil has been explored and they are surfing worldwide and they are giving the stability of the oil. 40 years back or 50 years, King Fahd has been opening in the middle of the desert in Yanbu, a small city, and he says this is the world's largest petrochemical plant. And today, it is Jubail and Yanbu, it is supplying the world of the petrochemical. Today, in the Holy Custodian, King Salman bin Abdulaziz and the Deputy Prince Mohammed bin Salman, they announced a plan for 2030. So within 10 years, 20 years, we will see Saudi Arabia fulfill the demands and the need of the minerals of the world to make stability of the world. Our land, I repeat, it is unexplored yet. But as they say, Saudi Arabia, they fling down on the oil and suddenly it's a fling up on the gas. So our land is fully wealthy and having a lot of mineral to offer to the worldwide. And it is a part of the continental of Africa, where the Africa, they are giving the material for the world. But the difference between Africa and Saudi Arabia, here we have the vision for the government to apply. They are providing the license. They are providing the funds, 75% for the project. They are providing the structure, the infrastructure. Wherever you go, you have the infrastructure there. In my mind, it's just 300 meters, the infrastructure from my mind. I have just to build 300 meters. That's easy. That's what's happening in Saudi Arabia, in the most of our mining resource.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I believe within the coming short time, we will be supplying the world in all kinds of mineral. It's available in Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia will be joined to be a big pillar in the world in supplying the demand for all kinds of mineral are available in Saudi Arabia.
Well, you're in a better position than me. I have between my gypsum mines and the road 500 meters.
Yes.
So 300 meters, you beat me. So to talk about
one thing.
Go ahead.
The mine, it needs water. And the water are available here because the country, they are drinking from the sea. We have distillation to give the fresh water for everybody in the country. And the water, after it has been used, it is filterized and sent back to the mineral, to the mining zone. And we just have to carry the cost for the transportation, the cost of the line for the mines who are using this. And the water is free of charge to be used for the mine, which are happening just with the new law invested in a new law approved by the ministry, and they're giving this provided for the mine. So we have the water, we have the infrastructure, we have everything. So why not becoming multi-billionaire? I don't see why.
Excellent.
Yes.
Suleiman, you read my mind because
Yes.
my next question to Sven and to also Jonathan, and we have 4 minutes left, so we have to be a little quick with the answers, was on the effect on the environment and how does, from a technology point of view, what can the technological innovations do to make sure that we are friendly to the environment, like what Suleiman was saying, using wastewater or treated water in the mining instead of using a very precious source in Saudi Arabia, which is water. Water is actually more expensive than oil here, anyway.
I think we heard about the water, and the second important topic is at the end energy. So that means it will be electrification of the mine, electrification of the process. We just heard about it's only 300 meters to the road. So at the end, the bigger mines, they will definitely need then maybe rail transport to the coast, that we are also electrifying there and using conveyor technology to electrify also these. And there we're also then back to optimizing the processes, because there's a lot on efficiency, and the efficiency is not if the motor has 98.5 or 90.8.4%, it's about optimizing the chain, the logistic chain. So there we are back to digitalization at the end, to really making sure that all the different steps are fitting to each other, and that we are looking in the complete logistic chain from pit to port at the end, because it will, at the end, a material will be shipped somewhere, you will export material, and so you have to make sure that the complete logistic chain is optimized and is electrified at the end.
Jonathan?
Yeah, I will not repeat what has been said a million times during the conference. I have one more topic, and I think that is very important to me, is sustainability is not a new concept to our industry. We've been doing this forever, we just called it differently. We called it social license to operate. And our industry is not particularly good in communicating the good that we do. In most of the countries, we build the roads, we help building the electricity. We are, in most of the cases, the only employer for a very big area. All of what we give back is not something because we're doing good just for the sake of it. We understand that this is the DNA of our business, and people will not allow us to make money if we don't do it. So I think we can be quite proud of ourselves and our DNA. Now, the biggest room is always the room for improvement, so you can always do better. But I think we should take a bit of also appreciation for the achievements that we have already.
Thank you. I couldn't be more honored to have such a fantastic panel. So please, let's give them a round of applause. And thank you all for your time and for listening to us. Thank you, Richard. I hope we finished on time as you requested.
Perfect timing. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give our panel a warm round of applause as they leave the stage, and thank them for their contributions today.